When the ATPA stars roll into town, and more importantly, a new venue for that facility's first ever Jasper Engines Grand American event, it presents a new and special challenge for every driver. Why? Because no one knows exactly how well the track will be biting. Which tire do you use? How much weight do you use? Where do you set it up? It's a mystery and a big challenge.
When we come to a new facility like this that we've never pulled at, we'll come in here and we'll take a look at the track and try and decipher what we want to do for it, comparing it to the other tracks we've pulled on.
Now, the luck of the draw plays a more important role than ever before. Pulling first in line can offer many advantages.
When you only get one chance, you can't afford a mess up. Nobody likes to be number one, but at least the first guy gets a chance to come back again. But I don't know, you just watch a couple pullers is what we like to do that are set up basically like we are. And we try to learn from them. And if you're the first one, sometimes you get a break. And if you're not the first one, sometimes you get the break by watching somebody else.
A typical rural farm setting is what we find as we roll into Danville, Kentucky for event number 5. Welcome to the Lucas Oil Big Rigs Invitational coverage here on Speedvision from the Danville Boyle County Fairgrounds. On week number 5, we'll be featuring 4 different categories. Tom McConnell will fill us in on that and controversy that's raging in one category.
This is the first time Danville, Kentucky has ever hosted an ATPA Jasper Engines Grand American event, and what an event it's going to be tonight. We have got a special shootout between the big rigs and the super modified tractors. Lucas Oil is putting up the money for the big rigs. Jacobs Electronics putting up the money for the super modified tractors. The top 8 semis will be here. The top 5 super modified tractors will be here. And also tonight you're going to see the lightweight super stock tractors. Been a very tough competition between the diesels and the alcohol tractors all year. So far, a diesel has won one event and alcohol has won the other. Keep an eye on the Squealer, the Walking Tall, and Insanity. And one of the most unique things happening tonight is right here in the 4-wheel drive modified category. In that category, we're at the home track of the Versailles Mafia. Now, that's the team of Tom Timoleon with the Spellbound truck, Galen Young with the Renegade, and also Steve Clem with the Radical. Their hometown track, and what the Versailles Mafia has basically done that we're going to find out later. Has Donna Webb left the circuit? Has the Mafia run the Ford from Oklahoma off? We'll find out later tonight on Speedvision.
All right, thank you very much, Tom. Get on up here to the booth as we get things started right now with Larry Phillips. Not a truck, a tractor. This is the Insanity. Phillips on a very good run. As you can see, the twin plumes of black diesel smoke spewing forth out of those chrome-plated exhaust stacks. Phillips will set the mark to beat at 276 feet and some change. Now, covering things in the pit area and at the finish line, Brett Kepner.
There was an awful lot of smoke out of this thing at the other end, and some people don't realize, that some of it's diesel, but there are white smoke plumes that usually don't mean good thing.
No, that usually means a little blow-by there going on. That really ain't a good sign, but we just put this motorbike together before Evansville, and our rings ain't really seated up good, or we hope that's what our problem is. So we're monitoring that real close now.
Well, we'll move over to the Walking Tall. This is one of the only Fords you'll see pulling out of Crittenden, Kentucky. Ladies and gentlemen, Darren Smith, and joining me in the booth now, Tom McConnell.
Darren Smith, 1996 Jasper Engines ATPA World Champion. His tractor just gets snuffed, runs out of power. This track is hooking them hard. 228, not a happy run.
No, pulled him down abruptly. We'll turn things green now with John Deere. They're the heavy ones to beat Mike Hoppy right here in the Disaster. Look how high he has that front end up in the air. And, oh, he's all over the course doing S-turns down through there. You can't win it that way, Tom.
Now, that is a power track, to say the least. As we check it out with the Lucas Oil replay, Comes off the line, looking like a good run in the make. That John Deere does make a lot of power. Wheels a little high, just like he was last week on Speedvision at the Evansville, Indiana event. Then he goes crazy. He jabs the brake, cannot keep it in control, touches the white line, disqualified.
For anybody who thought for a minute that these weren't difficult to control, this will teach them.
Yeah, it got really squirrely out there.
It looked to me like you yanked the brake when it headed to the right there, and it came over so hard you didn't have a choice but to get out.
Yeah, I got on it real soft, and it didn't crack. And I got on it hard, and then it just took me all over the track. So
Amazing how this sport works. I mean, last time at Evansville, in front of the hometown crowd, you go out there, take the lead, life is wonderful, and you come just a few miles down the road, look what happens.
yeah, that's tractor pulling.
Well, let's go on with another John Deere right now. Mike Savy, the Canadian mist out of Hillsboro, Kentucky. Let's see if he can keep it straight. Hey, he's off to a good start, Tom.
Oh, very much so. And check out the crowd here. Capacity crowd, some 6,000 spectators, and they're still coming in, and there's no place to seat them. Back on the pulling track, Mike Savy comes up short, 249.24.
This Speedvision coverage brought to you by Jasper Engines and Transmissions, the nation's leader in remanufactured engines and transmissions, and by Lucas Oil Products, #1 in the trucking industry, and by Jacobs Electronics. For ignition improvements, call 888-IGNITION. We'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
The Flesh Wound Films Extreme Video Sweepstakes and win one of Mike Jones or Tommy Clower's brand new replica 250 dirt bikes. Either call the number on the screen, go to our website for rules and information, or send a self-addressed envelope to the address on the screen. These are replicas of the actual dirt bikes used by the famous stunt riders Mike Jones and Tommy Clowers. Win either Mike Jones' Kawasaki KX250 or Tommy Clower's Honda CR250. Brand new replica dirt bikes, both complete with graphics kits. Extreme wipeouts, death-defying stunts that will take your breath away. Take a journey on the wild side. Get ready to take down the number on the screen. Don't miss your chance to get this outrageous video, Krusty 2000. And if you order during this special TV offer, you'll also get one of the craziest 60-minute sports videos ever filmed, absolutely free. No matter what type of racing you're into, you won't want to miss these extreme sport videos. Strap in for the ride of your life as we put you in the driver's seat and over the handlebars for some of the most intense and extreme dirt bike action you've ever seen. We're talking about a personal look at some of the Earth's best extreme stunt riders. You'll see magnificent aerial stunts and crash action footage featuring the likes of Seth Enslow, Travis Pastrana, and many other top professionals in this unique sport as they take your breath away. These thrill seekers live to push themselves for the next thrill and challenge, far beyond the boundaries of mortal man. You've paid as much as $30 for similar videos, but if you purchase the Krusty 2000 video now for only $19.95, you'll also receive absolutely free one of the craziest extreme sports videos ever filmed, with over 60 minutes of death-defying footage you won't want to miss. You'll witness some of the most ridiculous snowboarding, skateboarding, surfing, and motorcycle extreme stunts you'll ever see. If you're not kept on the edge of your seat with these amazing feats of courage, then return the tapes within 30 days for our full money-back guarantee. So call this toll-free number now or send check or money order for $19.95 plus shipping and handling to the address on the screen. Don't forget, visit our website to enter the Flesh Wound Film Sweepstakes drawing to win either Mike Jones or Tommy Clower's brand new replica 250 dirt bikes. Call now. Operators are standing by.
Back at the Lucas Oil Big Rigs Invitational, well, this isn't exactly what we had in mind as one of the children enjoy the Danville Boyle County Fair. The real big rigs will be up in just a minute. Right now, let's continue on with our super stock division, the John Deere they call the Squealer. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Darrell Meese.
Darrell Meese isn't exactly a favorite on this track. It is a diesel track. He runs an alcohol tractor. Heavy clay usually doesn't work good for the alcohol tractors, but we are wrong tonight. Darrell Meese takes over the lead, and boy, does he take it over.
Got that right from 276 to 295 feet.
I do want to point out, you along with most people in this class had never been to Danville, Kentucky before in your life. So you had to figure on something. You learned something just by looking at this track.
I guess I just rolled the craps and got lucky because I really was kind of up in the air on the gearing and the drawbar and all that goes into it. We just lucked out.
Well, let's find out if Brandy Cherry right now can luck out with her Evening Thunder.
Another tough alcohol tractor. Brandy, believe it or not, a seasoned veteran driver, and she's only 20 years old. Very good run. Alcohol tractor's looking good tonight. Brandy bouncing all over the track. Good enough for second at this point, 279.68.
And as you can see, she's a real crowd favorite. Brett Kepner is there.
Did this thing run out of traction, or was it just so violent you couldn't get any down there at the other end?
No, I think it ran out of traction. I was expecting the front end to come up more than it did, but it was pretty rough ride.
Yeah, you were getting thrown around in there, I'll be the first to admit. Now, did you expect that? Since you hadn't been here before, you have to be looking at that track saying, well, it looks like it might or might not.
I didn't expect it to be that rough, no.
Well, at least you're second.
Yeah.
And as our next puller backs up to the sled, Brett Kepner had a special award he presented earlier this afternoon.
You know, any competitor will tell you it's an honor to win our Lucas Oil Best Appearing Vehicle of each ATPA Jasper Pull Event award. However, there are only a handful of competitors in the history of this series that have ever won both the Jasper Engine's Best Engineered Award and the Lucas Oil Best Appearing Award. Here's one of the few. Now, this is the Wilhite Brothers tractor, runs in the lightweight superstock division. The very first time it ever rolled out of a trailer, it was instantly given the Jasper Engine's Best Engineered Award. Now, we're just going to give it the looks title. As you can see, the sheet metal is absolutely gorgeous, but look closely, you'll realize this is a New Holland tractor, one of the only of its type competing in the superstock lightweight class. Now, New Holland is a division of Ford. That's unusual enough. But this tractor had so many different innovations in it and managed to cover it all with looks that it was hard to believe when it first came out. How about an I-beam aluminum-based chassis? That's right, aluminum I-beams under this thing. And Mike Wilhite knows that there's all kinds of other stuff in here that you really haven't even told people about.
No, it's got a lot of different stuff under it. We built it all ourselves.
Yeah, you and your brother actually produced the whole tractor. And underneath, I believe, you've changed a lot this year.
Oh, yes, we changed all the plumbing on it and made the head flow a little more air to it.
Now, are you using basically a Ford engine block in this tractor?
Just the block and the head. Everything else is mostly all handmade in the bottom end of it.
And I should point out that these guys stayed away from the flames and the name as long as they could because the tractor was so beautiful without them. However, we consider it even better looking now that we've got a finished product.
Well, I agree, Brett Kepner. I really like the flames. A beautiful job done by Mike Wilhite.
I love when the tractor comes off the line. It looks like for a second it might be a diesel. Then it clears out. You see no smoke. It's all alcohol. The alcohol tractor's taking some rough rides here tonight. Getting down to the far end of the track, getting some oil. Has to get on the brake. Boy, really close to that out-of-bounds line. 282 even.
Walking right down that line, 282 will not be good enough to take the lead, which remains at 295.
You stopped it within probably no more than 5 inches.
I was watching pretty hard because I was getting pretty close to the line. I didn't want to be disqualified.
So you intentionally shut it off there rather than risk it?
Yeah, I was pretty well almost getting ready to stop anyway, but I might have gone a couple more feet.
Here comes an Alice Chalmers right now. It's orange. He calls it the Orange Field from Worthville, Kentucky. This is Charles Kemper.
Charles Jasper on his way to a pretty good run, but now it's starting to get wild. This is an excellent track, and on an excellent track, these tractors get too much traction, too much fight, and instead we got a fire. It looks like a brake disc is ignited.
Oh, yeah, you can see it off one side of the engine right there. Let's take a look at it with a Lucas Oil replay. Watch the one side of the engine that you're seeing right now on the very front of your screen in the center. Yep, that was a brake, not an engine.
He's holding that brake so hard he literally burned it up.
Anytime you can see a brake disc glowing in the daylight, you know it's hot. Unbelievable spark show out of that brake, and you must have been yanking on it that hard, buddy.
I'm long-legged, and I was using it all.
Then nobody's expecting this track to throw you around like this.
No, it's pretty bouncy. It's a little wavy the way it's built, and it gives you a little rough ride every now and then.
Well, in spite of that, he's currently in 4th place, but that could change right now. Here comes Alan Moore in the outrageous Alice.
Alan Moore has surprisingly not won a pole this year yet on the Jasper Engine Series. Strong diesel, but he's almost turned it over, Ted.
Wow, what a ride right there. He came to a halt rather abruptly at only 212 feet. Let's take another look at it right now with the Lucas Oil instant replay. See what happened. Oh, he had the wheels turned. When they came down, that made the tractor react rather violently. Still trying to get it straightened out like a bucking bronco. What a ride.
I noticed You were letting the front end come down enough to steer your way from the side at first. I don't think you were touching the brake.
I really got messed up bad. I did hit the brake back there because I wanted to come to the right side of the track, and I touched the brake, and that really got me bent out of shape. I would have been all right if I left my brake alone.
Boy, I'll tell you, I don't know if I would want to drive one of these or not, Tom. They're incredible as we watch the guesswork with Randy Payne begin to pull with the John Deere.
But we know one thing, a John Deere will win this bull tonight. Darrell Meeks is leading with his alcohol. Here's the diesel of Randy Payne, last tractor in the class. Randy runs out of up, and Darrell Meeks will win it.
295.33 feet is the winning time. Randy Payne came up quite a bit short, didn't even finish in the top 5. Our congratulations, and you see Randy landing at spot number 7. Now the points change, Tom.
The points are close. The big alcohol John Deere of the Squealer is really starting to space out the gap between him and Larry Phillips.
We'll take a break. When we come back, 4x4s coming up. Hang in there.
Speedvision's exciting new season revs up with live exclusive season-long coverage of Formula One Grand Prix Series. This weekend, it's live Formula One racing from Malaysia. And stay tuned for round 2 of Speedvision's Grand Slam of endurance racing with live flag-to-flag coverage of the 12 hours of Sebrings.
That's Speedvision, and you got it. So turn on Speedvision while the season's just revving up.
A capacity crowd has packed the house at the Danville Boyle County Fairgrounds. We continue our coverage of the Lucas Oil Big Rigs Invitational. Ted Jones here, Mike Side with you, along with Tom McConnell, as we get ready to go with the pack rat of Mike Clark and start our 4-wheel drive competition.
Mike Clark got a lot of momentum, a very good run. The crowd in Danville love their trucks. They love the 4-wheel drives. Mike Clark will set the mark to be 274.98.
Now remember, he doesn't have to accept that. Let's find out about it with Brett Kepner, who's waiting there.
274 feet, just shy of 275. I mean, that could hold. Who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of thought maybe the track might get better, but it's kind of chipping out real bad on us right now. So keep my fingers crossed. Hope we're going to be in there.
That means you're looking good right now. Good job.
Thank you.
Boy, that has to be a helpless feeling. I mean, you say, I'll take it, and you hope you're guessing right, that the track will not get any better. Well, the Buckeye Shaker of Jim Moose will put that to the test right now.
Well, Ted, usually the test hook 9 out of 10 times turns out to be the best hook. That's why most people keep it. Jim Moose doesn't have that option. He's got to live with what he gets. Very good run, 291.86. The Buckeye Shaker obviously takes the lead.
We have a new leader. Brett Kepner is with him.
You decided that over towards right of center was going to be better.
Yeah, for me, I think there's a little more moisture over there. I like a little damper track. So
I noticed that you could not apply, you had to apply a different amount of throttle at different points in the track all the way down.
Yeah, it's, you know, that's kind of the way I drive too, so that's all goes with it.
Well, let's find out if that was a fluke like a rock. Here comes the radical of Steve Klim and his big Chevrolet. The new number to beat, 291.86.
Steve Klim making a lot of momentum, and Steve Klim has pulled at this track many, many times. Part of the Versailles Mafia, as they're commonly known. Used to run out here with his Pro Stock 4-wheel drive years ago. All that experience on this Danville dirt pays off. He takes over the lead.
As Steve's family cheers him on.
Well, gentlemen, all year long, we've talked about the Versailles Mafia out of Versailles, Kentucky, and the job they've been doing, well, ganging up on Donna Webb, who, by the way, I guess officially is not here, huh?
Well, it seems that way. I haven't seen her.
Now, how many of the 4 trucks that you guys consider in the Mafia, what big of a circle are we talking around this area?
Well, we're talking about probably a 50-mile radius.
So this truly is hometown stuff for you?
Yes, it is.
Anything to win at this pull?
Yeah, anything. As you can see, I got a good crowd up here with me tonight.
They love you. Obviously, they came to see you win.
Yeah, it's been nice, and it seems like I just made a real good pull. I think I broke something in the front end when I just spun out here, but hopefully I won't have to make a pull-off.
Well, we'll find out right now. A pull-off would be next to impossible since he didn't make a full pull. The grounds for divorce is coming at you now.
Byron Neiman been trying a lot of things this year, a lot of experimental pieces and engine parts, and he's an unofficial member of the Versailles Mafia, and he will come up short 262.38.
So Steve Clem holds on to the lead. Earlier this afternoon, Brett Kepner filed this special feature.
Everybody says now Alan Snead is getting ready to leave the ATPA Tour. I don't understand. What's the deal?
This is my final year, Brent. I'm gonna retire after this year.
Officially get out of the sport of pulling forever?
I'm gonna stay as a promoter.
You're gonna promote? You're actually gonna run events?
I'm gonna promote a pull in my hometown in Lancaster, Ohio.
No kidding. But still, you've been doing this for so many years, you can't just quit cold turkey.
17 years. It's been a great run. I met a lot of great people, and that's what I'm gonna miss most is the people.
All right, so this may be one of the last pulls you see Alan Snead in with his very popular, lost in the 50s, early model Chevrolet truck.
I'll just be interested to see a year from now, Ted, if the pulling bug doesn't have him so bad, if he just doesn't come back into this sport. Look at the door opens up. They are shaking the ground here tonight, Ted.
266 feet, nowhere near that lead. And as Galen Young checks things out from the scorer's booth, we'll be back with more from Danville, Kentucky. Coverage of the Lucas Oil Big Rigs Invitational continues from the Danville Boyle County Fairgrounds. Ted Jones, Tom McConnell here with you as we continue the four-wheel drive competition with Darrell Varner and the Fast Break.
Darrell, another one of the guys you can say has kind of got a hometown advantage. Pulled at this track many, many times. Never been a Grand American Jasper Engines event here, but was an ATPA regional Jasper event, and Darrell's won it here before on the region, but not here on the Grand American tonight.
As the rags to riches entry of Don Grant gets ready to pull, if you just joined us, we'll remind you Steve Clem has the number to beat at 293.63 feet. Let's watch this Chevrolet do his thing.
Don Grant just screaming the heck out of the rags to riches Chevrolet. Scream, smoke at the end, but still nobody can touch Steve Clem at this point.
Well, Tommy Termolian, who builds a lot of the engines that these pullers use right now, will try it with a spellbound. This guy could take the lead.
Oh, in contention for the point. He is the motor builder for the Versailles Mafia, to say the least. A lot of momentum. Everybody's up there together. Can he beat his tailmate? No. Steve Clem still looking good. Tom Termolian, 285.30.
And I heard the crowd reaction in the background to that one. Brett Kepner's there with him.
Doesn't matter who takes what order, just as long as the four of you are in the top four.
Well, Steve made a really good run a while ago. He had an early number. I think the track's getting a little tighter. Old Renegade's coming up here in a minute. We'll see what he can do with it, I guess.
We still got him, and like I said, you're 1 and 2. You got to be happy. This is in front of everybody you know.
Oh, yeah, we're having a blast.
Good deal.
Now, although this is the first time many of the pullers have faced this track, that's not necessarily the case with one ATPA star, as Brett Kepner reports.
Well, as you heard at the beginning of the show, not too many people have ever pulled here in Danville before, but there are a few people like Aaron Mobley here who lives, what, 8 miles down the road?
About 8 miles north.
So I have a feeling you've probably pulled here a few times.
Just about every time they open up, I'm here.
Okay, so everybody knows in the sport of pulling, every course is different. In fact, the course usually changes a couple of times a night, so you must know something that other people here should know or need to know, but don't. What is it? What's the characteristic of this track that's the most unusual?
This track, if they put a lot of water in, it can be a good track. But if they don't get the water, it's not as good as it should be, but it's a decent track.
Now, where does it break up? Starting line, mid-range?
About mid-range, and it has some holes in it and ruts real bad.
Well, that's horrible stuff, and if you know that ahead of time, you really do have an advantage.
Well, you try to drive around them ruts.
Well, let's see if he can do it as the Mad Dog is hooked up out of Harrisburg, Kentucky right now. Driving around those ruts, it can be a little tough.
Oh, very much so. Let's see if he drives around it, if he takes a left or a right as he goes down. Looks like it's going to be pretty straight and true going down the way. I think he's in the wrong gear. He's running out of power.
Indeed. Way short. Yes, only 270 feet. So as the sun begins to set over Danville, Kentucky, Steve Clem is still our leader, but we have more waiting when we return. Kentucky family is a very important part of the ATPA Jasper Pulling Series. They all turn out. This place is packed tonight. Ted Jones here with you, along with Tom McConnell, our expert analyst. We continue the 4x4 competition with Galen Young and the Renegade. The number to beat, 293.63. Can he do it with one of the few dodges in competition? 293.16. It is a sport of inches. The crowd appreciates that. Brett is there.
Yeah, I know, it's 4 lousy inches, but the mob is 1, 2, and 3.
Hey, that's right. That's what we're after.
The whole crowd's here behind you, and for you personally, there can't be anything that tops pulling into this town, unloading as the reigning world champion and coming out here and putting you and your buddies 1, 2, and 3.
God, I love it, man. You can't beat it. Cannot beat it. Plus, we've had a good time this weekend. We've really turned this Mopar around.
Yeah, I think so far the year 2000 has marked a major season for you because of what you had to overcome.
Yeah, we really started out with a deficit, buddy. The chassis and the wedge motor and stuff, we've had a rough time, man.
Yeah, when somebody asks you, hey, throw away everything you know and start from scratch with our stuff, that's a tough order.
Hey, it's starting to come around.
Another 4x4 puller coming in. This is Junior Brown, not a regular, with the bad addition out of Waverly, Tennessee.
Very tough truck from Western Tennessee, known to travel. He's just kind of one of the guys that you least expect him at an event. He shows up and then he wins it. Not going to happen tonight, but a very good run for Junior Brown, 282 and change.
Well, Steve Clem isn't out of the woods yet. One more puller, Charlie Dutton out of Vincennes, Indiana, with the Child's Play, could break up this Mafia domination.
Could very well. Charlie Dutton in contention for the Jasper Engines ATPA Grand American points. He starts shaking mid-track, just what Aaron Mobley said. You get down the middle of the track, you start bouncing, cost him distance, and Steve Clem wins it.
Brett Kepner is with our winner right now.
I can't imagine he gets any better than that.
Oh, it don't. This is second night in a row. We went last night, and we won by, I think, a 3-foot margin over Renegade, and we beat him tonight. And he's one of my best friends, and he's done so much for me. Without Galen, I couldn't have done this. All my family and friends here, all big support. My brother, he hangs in there. He does a real good job. But it's a very emotional, and to win 2 in a row, me and my brother stayed up like 3 days straight building a new motor. And to come out and win twice, you know, it's pretty big.
That is very big indeed, but the Mafia domination was broken up by Jim Moots, who placed number 3. Our congratulations to him. Let's take a look at the points.
As the points are going well, it looks good for the Mafia. 1 and 2, Spellbound and Renegade Chevy on top. But keep an eye on the Dutton Farms entry of Charlie Dutton.
Well, I'll do that. Thank you very much, Tom. Now, coming up next here on our Speedvision coverage for the Lucas Oil Big Rigs Invitational will be Little Rigs. What can this be, folks? Well, we sent Brett Kepner down there to get us the inside story of this new class. This is for real. Listen up now.
You know, any endeavor needs an injection of new blood in it to continue its evolving. Certainly in motorsports, we've seen that in a variety of different ways. I think the go-karts have probably performed that function more than anything else over the years in both road racing and oval track racing. You've got the quarter midgets, and certainly drag racing has a very successful junior dragster program. But pulling is no different. They're called mini pullers. As you can see, they're small, but hey, believe me, they can pull their load. As a matter of fact, these kids have some amazingly powerful electric motors in these little vehicles. And as you can see, boys and girls both have a kick. Now, there's a couple of these vehicles over here that I'm wondering about. This one is an example. Supercharger and another supercharger. I don't think that's legal. I guess Willie's pickup trucks have been allowed for this year. You got your 4-wheel drive machines, your 2-wheel drive machines, you got your electric machines, you got your kid machines. One thing's for sure, we've got the future of the sport machines right here in ATPA Jasper Pulling.
Thank you very much, Brad. And the big guys are coming up, the big rigs. Stay tuned.
Hello, I'm Derek Daly. Have you ever thought what it might be like to push a race car to its limits? Well, for most of my life, I did just that, and now I want to share those thrilling moments with you at the Derek Daly Performance Driving Academy. You can walk through our doors with no experience and have the thrill of a lifetime. From the classroom to the racetrack, and all just minutes from the world's most exciting city of Las Vegas. To begin your racing adventure, simply call 1-888-GO-DEREK and begin to live your dream.
Back in Danville, Kentucky, the Lucas Oil Big Rigs, and these are the Big Rigs. Now, what are they? What are they about? Brett takes us in.
You know, the sport of pulling has roots that go back almost a century and a half in the American heartland. We all know that the original contest was among horses and even sometimes cattle pulling a weight sled down a measured course. Of course, when the iron horse appeared around the turn of the century, tractors and trucks took over almost immediately. But since then, just about every conceivable type of vehicle is hooked up to the weight transfer machine. And one of the most popular ever has been diesel tractors. Now, it originally started as a contest for true bone stock over-the-road trucks. It is now elevated to specialized machines that are some of the most powerful and largest you'll ever see on a contested course. But the modern-day pulling diesel semi is super powerful. Just like the super stock tractors, sequential turbocharging, a tremendous amount of engine innovation, all add up to well over 1,000 horsepower going through 8 rear wheels trying to hook up on dirt, which of course is hard enough. Now, people like Mike Metzger back here in the beautiful Liberty Bell truck that is currently one of the toughest in the nation are here strictly as a matter of ego. This is for bragging rights. And believe me when I tell you that the fans can identify with the big rigs as quickly as they can with tractors.
When he's talking about bragging rights, there has been a point series within this Lucas Oil point series for the big rigs. The winner of the point series automatically gets to go to the ATPA's Winter National event in Fort Wayne, Indiana, coming up in January of 2001, and Dana Lindsay on her way with a full pull.
And did you hear the crowd reaction? They like this young lady. Greg Kepner is there.
Gee, I think they like you.
I think so. Most of the crowd likes the women, and I'm the only one. They really get into it.
Yeah, but to start it off with a full pull makes it that much better, and I should point out it was probably the smoothest application of power we've seen in any class so far.
Well, thank you. I just put it to the floor and go.
That was all it took. Great job.
Thank you.
Next up will be the Mountaineer. This is Lawrence McElroy.
Listen to the boost bill on this thing, Ted. The sound of this sounds like a road tractor, like a semi, but it has that hit of a big diesel super stock tractor as well. Of course, it's a diesel. It's running 4 turbochargers. It makes sense.
Notice that one wheel coming up with the tremendous torque that these tractors have. In addition, a lot of the guys like to hang a lot of lights on them, just like they do when they're 18-wheelers going down the road. As we take a look at Mike Metzger and his Liberty Bell, he'll try and make a full pull. That's what it takes if you're going to get into a pull-off with Dana.
That was one of the quickest runs I think I've ever seen in the history of the sport, Ed. He flew out of here.
Pulled it right out the back door. Brett Kepner's on his way there right now.
You know what this track's like, and that obviously is a lot smoother than I think what many of you thought. Anything you can do in a pull-off that's going to make it easier for you when they put more weight on?
Just need to get the speed up. It's a little rough, but the faster you go, the easier it gets down at the end there on the thing. So we're going to do the best we can do. We like pulling in Kentucky. It's the first I've been down here in years, but I'm enjoying it.
Oh, the crowd loves it, and you just made sure it was going to be a pull-off, too.
That's what we're looking for. Thank you.
Of course, many Kentucky fans remember seeing that truck pull many, many years ago at Rupp Arena just up the road in Lexington, Kentucky. As we check out our next big rig, this is Harry Flock, one of the toughest Lucas Oil semis you're going to see anywhere. Listen to it scream.
Another full pull. Evidently, speed is the key, as he also did it very, very quickly. Now here comes Guy Flock, brother to Harry Flock, with the Scavenger.
Scavenger looking good, but having some trouble. Flames coming out of the exhaust. Getting back on the throttle, but he's lost his momentum. He shuts down, and those weren't air brakes. Those were the turbochargers shut down.
Once you lift, it makes it difficult. You like the big rigs? We've got more. Stay with us. The lights, beauty, and excitement of a county fair at night back in Danville, Kentucky for the Lucas Oil Big Rigs Invitational. And that's what we're coming at you with right now. Big rigs like this one, built for business. Tom Lindsay, the pilot.
Tom Lindsay is the 1999 Jasper Engines ATPA Lucas Oil Big Rigs World Champion. No surprise there, Ted. Full pull. I just love how that truck torques it over to the side.
Yeah, and hits that air horn when he does a full pull. 4 of them out the gates, folks. Here comes another one. John Samblock, the lone wolf. Look at the torque now. Watch that one front tire lift up. I mean, these trucks really have some incredible torque and horsepower.
Look at it. It's almost turning over. It's got so much torque. Keeps it on the ground. He's going to come up short. That was awesome, Ted.
And as our next puller gets ready to hook, he was the recipient of a special award earlier this afternoon. Here's Brett.
Hey, and the ever-growing trend of painting your transporter exactly like your competition vehicle, I bet you've never seen anything quite like this. This is the Mann Family Trucking Company's absolutely amazing effort in the world of big rig pulling. And as you can see, the truck that tows this thing down the road is, although a later model, almost identical to the truck that Dave here drives for his father, John. Now, most people think that these are completely roadworthy trucks just hooked up to a sled. As the winner of our Jasper Racing Engine's Best Engineered Vehicle Award, I think you can probably straighten them out.
Yeah, that's true. This vehicle used to run on the highway. It has about 1.3 million miles on it that my dad, John, put on there. And we took it off the road, and if you would drive this on the road today, you'd probably only be able to do about 3 miles an hour.
It's geared so high. Or so low, I guess. Yeah.
Low, exactly.
Now, this really was, though, one of the family business trucks. It actually was out there hauling.
Yes, it was. It was number 3, as a matter of fact. The number's still on the door. Dad purchased back in the early 70s. This is 1974 A model, and done him well, and now we're out having fun with it.
Well, motor-wise, how much different than a stock KW?
Pretty much. Later on, you'll be able to see when you see the smoke come out of it.
Now, most of the horsepower ratings on these trucks are sometimes double what the stock rating was out of the factory.
Oh, most definitely. Some of them are even triple. They're pretty high-powered vehicles.
Now, one thing a lot of people have always asked about the big rigs when they're hooked up to the sled, do you actually do any shifting of gears in the cockpit during a 300-foot pull?
We don't. No, we don't. This is automatic, and we put it in one gear and we go. They may hear a shifting. That's a lockup in the transmission, which completely locks the horsepower to the rear wheels.
It's almost like a drag racing gradually lock-up clutch. Once the thing's hooked, obviously, then you can put the power to the wheels. Now, how many gears can you select from to start in?
Right now, there's 4.
Okay, so you do have a choice of after you read the track conditions.
Yeah. Basically, it's one gear unless you want to change your rear ends. Transmission, the ratio between the gears is too high to pretty much change your shifting during pulling, so.
Dare I ask the final drive ratio on the rear end of this thing?
I won't tell you.
That's why it's always a risky question. But regardless of the secrets hidden inside this thing, just on the outside, you can tell that this is a thoroughbred vehicle if there ever was one. And as we pointed out before, certainly one of the most popular in the sport of pulling.
Thank you, Brett. Very deserving. A beautiful, beautiful truck. The Lady Butterfly, by the way, little side note there. Dave is a big Dale Earnhardt fan, thus number 3 in memory of old Ironhead there.
Look at the light show he gives it. Listen to it. Oh, is he going to go out right on the end of the track? He's out of here. This is great. We're going to get to see a lot of these guys run again for this Lucas Oil Championship.
And we'll rework the course to get ready for the pull-off. We'll have that when we continue from Danville, Kentucky.
Property owners, if weeds and brush are taking over your property, at last there is a solution. The amazing DR Field and Brush Mower can reclaim overgrown land with less work than you ever dreamed possible. The secret is that the DR works like a big tractor-mounted brush mower, but in a walk-behind version that's easier to handle and a lot less expensive. So if parts of your land are too overgrown for any ordinary mower, call toll-free for free details about the amazing new DR Field and Brush Mower.
The season revs up this weekend with live Formula One racing from Malaysia and round 2 of Speedvision's Grand Slam of Endurance Racing with live flag-to-flag coverage of the 12 hours of Sebring. Friday is F1 qualifying at midnight Eastern, 12 hours of Sebring at 10:30, and F1 late Saturday, 1:30 a.m.
Welcome back to Danville, Kentucky, as a family sends their greetings home. A capacity crowd here on hand for the Lucas Oil Big Rigs Invitational. We're at the Danville Boyle County Fairgrounds beginning the pull-off. Here comes our first full puller. This is Dana Lindsay, the red hot and rolling.
The crowd loves the ladies, as Dana said earlier. The crowd in Danville loves her, but she has to shut off early to prevent from going out of bounds.
261 feet, that could be costly. She was forced to shut down to keep from going out of bounds. It'll probably take well over 300 feet to win this. Let's go to Brett.
Kept it in bounds. Good job.
Yeah, it was an awesome run. Felt good, and I love being here.
And the crowd still loves you being here as well.
Well, I'm glad. I'm going to keep coming back.
Very popular indeed, but we move on now to Mike Metzger with the Liberty Bell.
Listen to the engine on that thing, Jim. Builds the boost up just like a Super Pro stock. Look at the dirty throwing. Tire speed, this thing is flying. 323.14.
They use a floating finish line well over 300 feet.
It doesn't look very hard for you to go uphill.
Is this Kentucky or all the tracks like this uphill at the end?
323 feet, longest pull of the event.
That's what I was hoping for. I didn't come from northern Indiana to play.
Believe me, they took it seriously, so did you.
Thank you.
Unbelievable.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Now here comes the wildfire of Harry Flock. Let's see if he can go more than 323 feet.
A lot of momentum. Harry's truck is sounding good. Look at the size of the chain on that vehicle. Takes a long chain to stop these things. And he will not touch Metzger. 298.32 for Harry Flock.
Now, the Lady Butterfly of Dave Mann could not make the call. Mechanical problem. So our last puller will be the Built for Business.
Look at how he's torquing the body over. He can actually control it that way. That one tire's on the ground. He holds it. Look at the smoke. He does it. 329.26. Let's check it out with the Lucas Oil replay. Absolutely awesome. The right tire hummed down. The torque of these 22,000-pound vehicles. Awesome.
When you can come out and murder them by 6 feet like that, that's got to be the coolest deal you could hope for.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it feels good.
Now, coming uphill, when you know that the leader mark is halfway up that hill, has also got to be a pretty bizarre feeling.
Oh, yeah, very.
You legged it, though.
Oh, yeah, what a ride in there. Oh, my, what a ride.
What a show you put on, Tom Lindsay, pulling 329 feet. Metzger, 323. A great show put on by the big rig here in Kentucky this evening. Now, coming up next, the super modified multi-engine tractors. They're pulling under different circumstances. Brett Kepner explains.
You know, last week in our ATPA Jasper Pulling Series coverage here on Speedvision, we saw the first man this season to defeat Bill Leichner in open competition in the super modified tractor division. It was, of course, Wayne Creech, one of the best-known names in this sport, and that had to be a thrill, but a lot of people might wonder why you're here since this isn't a points-paying event.
Well, it's an ATPA event, and we're down here as an invitational group, and really to show the people in this area what top-notch modifieds can do and the show we can put on. And the promoter was real interested. He did make the comment, I believe, that this is the first time they've had modifieds in, and the people in the area said are real excited, so we want to show them what it's all about.
Well, if it is indeed an invitational, then you've got to feel at least honored that you're at the top of the game enough for them to want you here.
Oh, yeah, it's always a privilege to represent your organization and the sponsors of ATP, the Jasper people and Lucas and so forth, and that's really why we're here.
Well, I would imagine anytime there's cash up for grabs and you have a new track on which to experiment and play with ideas, you're still going to gain something out of this.
Yes, you know, you can always learn from every event, and that's what we try to do. But the other thing on invitationals, you know, you're putting everything at risk also. So there's pros and cons to that.
Well, regardless of how he does tonight, I pretty much guarantee Wayne Creech will not mess with the current winning combination that he has. It'll be interesting to see how he does on a course on which no other modified has ever pulled.
Jacobs Electronics is putting up money for this class. It's the mid-season shootout for the Supermod tractors, and the deal is you had to be in the top 10 last year in order to qualify for this. Bill Leichner was not eligible. James Bartell is. He will set the mark to beat 209.58.
And a very different engine arrangement right there for Martell. Here comes Wayne Kreider, the double-dose plus one out of Trobosco, Indiana. Notice he only has 3 engines.
The 3 do scream, Dad, let me tell you, but he's having problems right now. I've seen pieces come off of the tractor. Something's not right. He has taken over the lead, but Wayne is not going to be happy with that run.
We'll take a break. When we come back, it'll be the rambunctious airplane engines, if you would. More Supermods coming at you.
Biggest names in classic machinery, Hemmings Motor News, Barrett Jackson Classic Car Auctions, and Speedvision Network bring you the ultimate online resource for all your dream machine needs. eClassics.com. You dream it, we have it.
Tonight, take a front seat look at the new Mazda Miata. Then travel the world of racing on Motorsport Mondial. Plus, the Trans Am muscles its way into Sebring. That's Auto Week at 7 Eastern, Motorsport Mondial at 7:30, and SCCA Trans Am at 8.
This ATPA Speedvision coverage brought to you by Jasper Engines and Transmissions, the nation's leader in remanufactured engines and transmissions, and by Lucas Oil Products, #1 in the trucking industry, and by Falco of Cincinnati, whose products are available at local truck stops everywhere. We continue on now with our Invitational with the super modified multi-engine tractors. You can run automobile engines or you can run 2 of these, Tom.
2 V12 Allison aircraft engines to Wayne Bergman. That's what he's running, and he's bouncing, hopping everywhere.
And he's been disqualified, but he didn't run out of bounds.
He dropped some weight. You drop a weight on the track, you are disqualified.
Dwayne, you were brought up to tune these things, and not many people know how to make an Allison run right, but something was way off there.
We were hitting the rev limiter so hard the front motor was shutting off. We were just unhooking from the track. I don't know what I had wrong. We'll figure it out. The Jacobs rev limiter was working good.
Well, at least something good came of it. Thanks for showing up. I know it's an invitational. It's an honor just to show up, and we appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I want to thank Lucas Oil Products and Jacob, and also Jasper Engines. Thank you.
Well, here's a different arrangement, folks. 4 engines of Wayne Creech and the Dirt Dancer. Notice how he has those sitting side by side, front to back.
Wayne Creech getting into the ruts that the Mad Dog Aaron Mobley was talking about earlier on. It's going to cost him some distance, but hey, he still has taken over the lead. 223.32 with 1 tractor yet to go.
Let's take a look at it and see exactly how he did that. The bouncing you were talking about caused by the ruts. Also notice the low tire pressure back there in the rear tires as you see those sidewalls beginning to flex. That could have aggravated the problem. Brett Kepner's there to talk to him.
Here we are at an invitational, and Wayne ends up taking, I think, the roughest ride he's probably had all year.
Yeah, probably in a couple years.
Now, was it the surface or the way you approached the surface?
No, it's a combination. It's a very, very hard track. It's hard all the way from top down into the mid part of the track. There's no give in it. And when the young man set the sled, and I'm not hammering on the sled guy, what he did, he put all of his weight in his transfer box to try to get us down here because he's afraid his bars wouldn't dig in. He's not giving us any hitch. So as soon as you come with the throttle, as you've seen 3 tractors do, the tires jump out of the track. And when they jump out of a hard track, they can't get in, and you get into that bounce. You know, you got a choice at that point. Either you shut it off, and then when you back off the throttle, you'll take 2 real hard ones, or you'll ride it out, and it'll be consistent. And I have enough confidence in the strength of my banner chassis that we rode it on out.
Hey, bottom line, you're in the lead.
Okay.
Boy, it is a complicated sport, I'll tell you.
Well, let's see if Scott Ketter can figure it out, use a little bit more finesse. Last tractor in the Jacobs Electronics Invitational for the mid-season shootout. Ketter on a very good run. He's going to get it. Shuts down after he passes him. Ketter wins it, 264.04.
I think he could have gone further. He saw that he went past the code, well past the 223-foot mark. You'll see him bouncing up and down right there. He never did really dig in and spin out.
Now, if this track gave Wayne Creech that much problem, then you had to really do some thinking up there on how you were going to get around it, because you did get around the problem.
Yeah, well, it still bounced, but yeah, I corrected. I moved some weight back. I let some air down on my tires, and I walked it off the line. It was a driver's track.
And I noticed, and certainly this is entirely understandable, the minute you knew you had the lead, you got out of it.
Yeah, it felt good to at least get hooked up and not bounce the whole way, but once I got her up and was running with it, then I started hopping again, or I would have kept going, but it wasn't worth tearing anything up.
Oh, and like I said before, this is an invitational. It's a great mid-season shootout, but just the fact that you're here says an awful lot about what you've accomplished this year.
Yeah, thank you. Felt good.
And so here's how they finished. Scott Tenner on top. Congratulations to our top 5 finishers in the Lucas Oil Big Rig Invitational. And gentlemen, thank you for attending. We have one more award to hand out, and that is our Jacobs Electronics hot pull. Let's go back to the pull off Tom Lindsay and the Built for Business. Look at the torque on that. What a driving job he did, keeping that inbound to pick up the win with our Big Rig. Now, next week, we'll move up to Goshen, Indiana for special coverage of the Valco 2 Grip Nationals. That will be on Saturday, November 11th, our usual time, 12 noon, right here on Speedvision. Be sure and join us for the first of 2 shows from Goshen. For more, log on to speedvision.com. Until next week, I'm Ted Jones for Tom McConnell and Brett Kepner. So long, everyone.